evening. Well, good evening. How are you? Hope you all are doing well tonight. Listen, me and technology, we were having a little tete-a-tete, but I won. How about that? So come on in and join us tonight. Welcome to Unmasking Love. I am your host, Dr. M. You can see our topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. So come on in, join us. Let's talk. Welcome. Good to see you all tonight. I've been MIA for 2 weeks, but I'm back. So come on in, join us tonight. Email somebody, text somebody, let them know we're on, and share the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. So come on in. All right, Unmasking Love. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about men and their health. Want to talk about their mental, their physical, and their sexual health. And I'll go ahead and tell you what so many of you probably already know. There's a whole section of the world with younger guys in it now who are experiencing ED issues for various reasons. So there's no one reason that will fit the mold for everybody, okay? But I thought it was noteworthy tonight to talk about this topic, and I'll have someone join us shortly that you're familiar with, who experienced a few hiccups with some physical health, some physical health, and it's always good to have someone who can speak to things firsthand, nothing like that. So come on in, join us tonight. We're just going to talk a little bit, tell somebody that we're on. Yes, wait another few minutes, and as soon as our guests join us, and then we will get this conversation started. Won't hold you long tonight. Again, thank you all for holding on, and thank you for being here. As again, I said, I appreciate all of your cares and your concerns during the time of my mom's illness and her transition from earth to glory. I thank all of you for whatever you did or whatever you said. So just thank you from me and my family. Thank you so much. All right. Well, as soon as our guests come in and join us, we're going to get this conversation started. You can see what we're going to be talking about there. It's running across the screen. We're going to talk about men's health tonight. And either we'll do a follow-up with a part 2, or we'll go into women's health on next Thursday, Lord willing. We'll talk about women's menopause and different things. The same thing. We'll talk about men's health. We'll talk about, women's health next week. We'll talk about women mental health, her physical health, and her sexual health. Because what I know for sure, all three are very important, right? So that we can have a healthy balance, okay? So if one of the three is not up to par, let me just use that phrase, then we'll be unbalanced, okay? So we want to have a healthy relationship across the board. Yeah. Okay. So while I'm waiting on my guests to join us, I'm going to look at some different stats. I want to put this disclaimer out there. I'm non-medical, So I don't write any prescriptions and dab into the medical arena. I do partner with physicians, but I'm PhD. So you work with the medical, they make the prescriptions and do all the other. I work with your mental and your physical health. Okay, just want to put that disclaimer out there. Don't want anybody confused or think that I'm trying to dabble into something that is not my expertise or my gift. Okay, so um, you know, you look at that, and when a lot of people see young men in ED, they're like, "Whoa, what?" Well, um, I'm sure that's what they say too. A younger gentleman go and discover that something pertaining to his health is out of whack, and I just want to say it like this. It's definitely known. Uh-oh. All right, we're gonna pause and I'm gonna bring in Eddie, and he'll share his story and talk to us about men's health. Okay. Hey, Eddie.
Hey now.
Listen, I apologize for that. I was
I don't know. The last link still had the picture set up, and I thought you might be coming back, and then I was like, let me check my email, and I was like, new link. But yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well, what happened? I didn't have it set for live stream. I came in and I did some other stuff so fast. I had it set on recording, and I just had to go
Okay.
back and do the whole thing. A wonderful technology. I'm learning. But again, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you joining on such short notice again. And I listened to your live either last night or night before. And I really appreciate you being transparent and sharing your most recent uh, discovery about your health. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
thought that would be noteworthy to share tonight because, like I said, not being judgmental or being, what's the word I'm looking for? Biased in any kind of way. But a lot of young men just don't go to the doctor, you know, as often as they should and things like that. So, of course, I'll allow you to ask you to speak to that and, what you know from that. But if you'll share some of your journey, what you learned about, I won't say your health scare, I don't know what you're calling it, but I
Mm,
appreciate you so much.
Journey
Just
is good.
share, huh? What you calling it?
Journey is good.
There you go. Your health journey, your new discovery. And I think it's noteworthy to share with people tonight. So I'm going to listen to you, and I appreciate that.
You know, I've always said something about like cars because I don't know anything about cars, and I'll be the only thing I know about cars is the stuff that's been wrong with mine. And it's like the same concept with my body. It's like I don't know. The only thing I know is like when my body has felt different, right? Now, I admittedly have not spent as much time going to the doctor and getting checkups as I supposed to be. And I've been able to coast for 40 years without any relative issues because of that. You know, stitches at some point when I was 12, and no broke bones, no headaches, no. My blood pressure was elevated a little bit, and when I turned 30, I started having issues with my feet. But these things were going to or orthopedic clinic. They was like, okay, this is what you need to do. I've changed my shoes, but this particular scenario was me um not being able to quench my thirst in a way that I was just thirsty all the time. I was drinking 2 waters back to back, and then after I drank those in the office, I'll walk over to Family Dollar and I'll be like, I'm finna buy some of these like those electrolyte hydration drinks, and I'm
Got it.
down 2 of those, and I'm just keep drinking, and from that I'm peeing a lot, and I'm thinking I'm peeing a lot because I'm drinking a lot. I just don't know why
Okay.
I'm drinking a lot. I don't think it's a big deal. I think at some point when I'm hydrated enough, then all of that stuff will go away.
Okay.
And so this is about a 5-day span. We talking about on Tuesday, I start really, really being thirsty. And then on the weekend, I have an event at a church with one of my friends. We're doing a podcast that a pastor does before the church. I drive like normal, get there, and then when we're about to do the podcast, they put the name of the pastor up on a TV in the back screen, and I can't read it. And I should, for all intents and purposes, be able to read it because I can see the people around it, but I can't read the words. They just blurry. And now I've put together a cluster of okay, my body is doing something different.
Yeah.
Now that moment where I couldn't see that sign turned into okay, that pen and that drinking water is something else. So I've never been the kind of person that wouldn't tell people what was going on with me if it was something going on with me. Now we debate whether I go to the doctor or not. Like people say go to the doctor, but like people be going to the doctor for everything. And I'll be like, again, I look at it like all the times y'all told me to go to the doctor 39 years ago, you was wrong because I'm fine. I've been
Okay.
fine all this time. This time, nobody had to tell me to go to the doctor. When I felt my body out of sync, I was like, I'm finna go to the doctor. Now I talked to
So,
some nursing friends and some different people, and
yeah.
they were like, you need to go and check your you need to go check your glucose, blood glucose. Go get you a machine from Walgreens and check prick your finger, check your blood, see what it is. It's supposed to be 90. Mine was 426. So I called my friend back and said I'm going to the hospital. And
Wow.
I
So
end up
the
being
average,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
the
Go ahead.
average where we're supposed to be is 90.
Yeah, around 90, yeah.
And you were 4 times that.
Yep.
Okay.
Which means that so the psych thing was that the sugar in my body, my insulin was not handling my sugar like it's supposed to. What's supposed to happen is you eat food. When the sugar comes in, carbs comes in, stuff that your body needs to break down, the insulin releases and it breaks it down and bring your numbers back down to 90. Diabetes is when your insulin is no longer functional. Now you can have type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes means that your insulin ain't working no more. It's done. You won't have to be taking insulin and these things your whole life. Diabetes type 2 means that your insulin is struggling. And you can reverse that if you change your diet and change a bunch of things make a lifestyle change.
Okay. Okay.
And so I get to the hospital and I'm in the hospital for 24 hours.
All right.
And they don't know how long I need to be there. They just need my numbers to come down. So first they tell me it was like 10 o'clock. They like, you could be out of here by the morning. Okay. By the morning, they like, you could be out of here in 3 more hours. Okay. By the time it's 24 hours by the time they actually let me go because they were
Okay.
really just trying to get my numbers down. Now I don't know how dangerous of a situation I was in. Diabetes is one of those silent killers. So those numbers go up and your vision is blurry and you don't pay attention and you keep drinking sodas and you keep eating carbs and you keep doing all this stuff to your insulin, that number gonna keep going up and keep going up. So that's what makes it important to be in sync with your body in a moment like that. When your body is doing something and not be afraid to go to the hospital to get checked out for that. So they let me out with a diabetes diagnosis. And since then, I really been I changed my diet drastically. My A1C was a 13.5, if y'all know what A1C is, which is high. As of my last doctor's appointment, I had it down to a 6.6. I essentially changed my diet. Everything white, took it out of my diet. White sugar, white rice, white bread, potatoes, potato chips, all kind of snacks, all kind of desserts, cereal, milk. All of these things were contributing to high carbs. And so I took all
Okay.
this stuff out of my diet, and that contributed to it coming down. And I'm still on that same diet, even though things are coming down. I'm a little bit more liberal with stuff. I have a continuous glucose monitor, which is one of those things you stick into your arm, and on my phone, it shows me what my numbers are. It shows me, when I eat a meal, how high does my blood glucose go and how long does it take for it to come back down. And that was the journey, and that is the journey, and one thing I'll say is through this whole time, there was never a moment where I felt like down or bad or out about it. When moments like this happen to me, I use it as an opportunity to change and look forward to meeting the new me after this moment, right?
That's
And so
awesome.
I'm on the journey now to wherever this is going to take me afterward. But what it did expose, it showed me that the things I was consuming and the way that I was consuming them, they weren't necessary. Like the changes that I made ain't even big changes, but they are big for my health because my blood pressure also been relatively high Every time I go to the doctor, they were like, okay, you 140 and up. So, you probably live in a chronic state of high blood pressure, but now it's down around 125. And so, like, the changes that you don't see that you have to check on, you get to see the effects of that work that you're doing. And so that was my situation. That's what happened. I don't want to filibuster the whole time. So,
No, that's good. I mean, because I think I hope some other young men and some, maybe not in your age group will listen, because a lot of men just don't pay attention to their health. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Most of them don't go annually, like we women for the most part go,
mm-hmm.
at least once a year, from the time I'm going to say we're a teenage and at the onset of puberty, they tell us we need to go at least once a year for our annual checkup, for them to check everything. And I just don't hear that same declaration from men for the most part. If they really get a terrible cold and they think it's flu or pneumonia, something like that, they might go. Or like you say, if they break a bone, or
Yes,
get a
ma'am.
nail in their foot, you see what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, they just don't go. And so, what would you say? I mean, do you think after 35, even if it's nothing wrong, and I'm just throwing that number out there, it would be a good thing for men to start having an annual checkup as well?
We definitely need to have annual checkups.
Hmm.
The reason that I had not been doing it is because I've gone so long without insurance.
Yeah.
I was just
Okay.
kind of hoping that, like, nothing happened big enough, and I had signed up for insurance and everything for January. And this happened right before I had insurance.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so it was like, so, but it's a lot of people, not just men, but a lot of people are held back by having access through stuff like insurance. But that's what held me
Hmm.
back. I didn't have insurance. And but having insurance, I definitely want to go get a checkup every year. And it don't matter now, because right now I got a doctor that's actively monitoring this journey that I'm on right now. And so even changing my diet from all of the stuff that I changed to get my diabetes together, it started increasing my negative cholesterol level. So my cholesterol done went up a little bit high now. So now I'm working on changing the cholesterol part, you know, because when my for diabetes, it's like uh eggs in the morning and avocado toast is a good meal, and like a piece of meat. But them eggs, the cholesterol, eating them eggs every day ain't good. So the solution to one problem created another semi
Yeah.
problem. And so it's kind of like that's what that well-rounded, system is. And then those checkups are important.
Right. Right. So, and do they also encourage activity like walking or getting out and doing exercise, as an addition to health?
Yes. Yes. So for diabetes specifically, 1 minute of exercise takes away 1 point of blood glucose. So
Wow.
let's say my blood glucose is 90, and let's say I eat enough food to take me up to 120, 30 points higher. I can wait for it to come down naturally, but if I do 30 minutes worth of exercise, it'll come back down to that 190. It
Wow. That is
burns all of that
amazing.
sugar. Now the problem is with diabetes, insulin doesn't only bring that sugar down, but it also brings that sugar up if it's too low. So if I were to exercise for 50 minutes to an hour, and it goes down below down to 70, then or below, then I risk passing out. And now I, got to have some glucose pills. They like sugar pills basically, or a
Okay.
piece of candy or sugar.
Right.
My daddy keep little candy, little sneaker bars in his pocket. But they have actual glucose tablets that dissolve fast and will help you recover quickly. So
Okay.
that's the importance of monitoring it.
Got it. So you just mentioned something too, and that's what I was going to ask you. If there was some genetics, if someone like on your mom's side or on your dad's side was diabetic as well. So you just mentioned your dad.
Oh yeah, my dad and my grandma. If you come from a line of people with diabetes, you might as well get ready for the BDs.
Oh
That's probably
wow.
about to happen. I'm not saying that you will get it, but like any risk of something that you have in your genetics, you might as well consider that it's a possibility. And if
Right,
it's something that you could do diet wise, it is something to be aware of and get on. You can't do anything about schizophrenia or bipolar. If you got it in your family, that is normally developed like during a high stress moment. If you got the precursor for your genetics, you know, a high enough stress level, you'll end up with schizophrenia or bipolar or something like that. Um, you can't really do nothing to prepare for that. But like if
right.
you got a family with diabetes, going ahead and having you a workout regimen actively, and then um making sure understanding the difference between simple carbs and complex carbs.
Right,
Eating less
right,
processed food. You know, simple carbs would be white bread. They process it a lot. They make it simple carbs. Complex carbs would be wheat bread, whole grains, because it's processed less, and when the body is digesting it, it brings those numbers up slower. Simple carbs bring it up fast. And again, with diabetes, you're just trying to avoid your numbers going up super fast. You know,
yeah,
so if you eat 2 pieces of bread and a bag of potato chips, them numbers shoot up to 250. You got to wait for it to come down, and if it take 10 hours to come down, you can't eat again because you put yourself in danger.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
tell you, you're sharing some valuable information, and it's just amazing. And now it helps us understand when you go to the doctor and they give you that a form and it has like grandparents and parents and siblings on there,
yeah,
and have those check boxes if you have anybody in your family that has this. So what
yeah.
that does too, it helps us understand the importance of having a conversation with our, I'm going to say, immediate family about their health challenges and issues, that they've experienced as well. And that's just not an average everyday conversation that people sit around and have. But again, we as women, we're more privy to it, if we have someone that we know and they're still living that we can ask, because we get that same question every year, you know. And of course, if your mom or your dad has already transitioned, they'll ask you if you know the cause of that and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. But the thing is, how far was that uh, chart from you that you couldn't see?
Mm, it was about I want to say about 40 or 50. Wait, I'm bad with measurement like that.
I mean, too.
Um, let's just say from the we lived in the same apartment complex. The distance
Okay.
from that long hall, the distance from one side of the hall all the way to the other side of the hall.
Okay. Yeah, you should have been able to see that. So, had you
Yeah.
noticed your vision
So
acting up before
for
then?
anybody that go to church, past about 10 pews.
Okay. Had you noticed anything with your vision before that day, or just hadn't paid it any attention? You just
No,
thought, I need to clean my
no,
contacts or something.
it couldn't have been because I'm chronically online and on my
Right,
computer.
right.
So I'm either on my computer like I am now, or I'm on TikTok. And after that day, my computer and my TikTok, everything was blurry. Everything was blurry. I
Yeah.
mean, if I pull it back and I could get it into an exact spot to where I could see it, but like if it was too close, I couldn't see it. If it was too far away, I couldn't see it. This is another thing. When your body is that full of glucose, if it is there for too long, it starts attacking your eyes. It starts
Mm-hmm.
attacking nerve endings that are very sensitive. And so um the reason my vision was blurry was because I had blood glucose, but that sugar will eat away at your nerve endings. And so I went to go get an eye test to see if there was any damage done to my eyes, and there was no damage done to my eyes. I caught it
Good.
really quick and got to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
doctor very quick and
Good,
changed my
good.
diet. And I did stuff because a lot of people, they find all this stuff and don't change their diet. They've been in a pattern, like they just been eating a piece of fried salmon croquette with a big sopping biscuit sopped with syrup 3 days a week. And you know what? They ain't finna stop eating that because it's delicious
What?
and they've been doing it forever. Like telling them that they gotta eat fresh salmon and a piece of whole grain bread and more vegetables. They don't be wanting to hear that.
Yeah, but you
And
know, Eddie, look, I ain't talking about nobody, just talking about what I'm talking about. It boils down to a matter of life and death. If we want to, we got to make some changes if we want to, continue to be
absolutely,
here. Or if you want
absolutely.
to see, because that's one, like I said, I put the disclaimer out there when I came. I'm non-medical, but I talk to a lot of, people in the medical profession, and losing vision is something that's very prevalent. When your diabetes go up too high. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
That vision, that same concept from vision is the reason why people be having to get their feet amputated with
mhm.
diabetes when they don't take care of their feet. Because again, you got a lot of glucose in your blood. It be eating away at them nerve endings, and feet and eyes got small nerves in them that can start deteriorating rapidly if you don't keep that under control.
Wow. Wow. So you said you had a monitor that you just put on, or you have to prick your finger like every day to check it?
You know what? When I first started pricking my finger, I was like, this ain't even bad. After about 2 months, I
Yeah.
don't want to do it no more. And
Okay.
so they have things called CGMs, continuous glucose monitors, where you basically, it's a little device that you stick onto your chest, press the button, and it forces it into your skin. It's a very thin wire that reads your blood glucose, not from the blood cells. So when you prick your finger and you get blood, that's the most accurate way to
Okay.
measure your blood glucose.
Okay.
Because the way that the CGMs work is they measure the blood that leaks out of your blood between the liquid between the blood cells.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me
And
just say,
so
hey, I see a couple of people on tonight. Welcome, Dr. Brenda Skillman. Good to see you tonight. Have Eddie on, who's a LPC, but also he had a recent change in his health, and went to the doctor and discovered that he's a diabetic, and he made these life changes. He decided to change his diet and do everything different. So I thought it was very befitting if we talk about this tonight. And I will say he's a young man, and admittedly, like so many other men, he wasn't a habitual person going to the doctor because he's never been really sick. Okay. So I want to encourage you all who watch this or share it with someone. Encourage your husbands, your brothers, your sons, your uncles, everybody to go get an annual checkup at least once a year. Okay. Pay attention to your body because it will speak to you. So he's here tonight and he's sharing his journey up to this point, how he discovered diabetes. And I appreciate him being so transparent and coming on tonight. Yeah.
another thing is it's important to check, even if you don't have insurance, a lot of doctors now are doing
Yes.
like a pay out of pocket,
Yes.
to where you could pay like $120 and you can get the
Mm-hmm.
same service you get with insurance.
Right.
I found a doctor that does that, and so that's what it costs for me to get that appointment without having insurance. And she
Mm-hmm.
was she gave me the prescriptions and everything, and then charged me because she said you finna have your insurance in January. Ain't no point of paying this money for this right here. I still paid her anyway. She probably don't know, but I still paid anyway. She told me I didn't have to pay. She said, "Tell the people at the front you ain't pay." I said, "You did the service, so I'm gonna pay." But she just knew kind of how to game the system. She was kind of like, you need to have these prescriptions and this diagnosis like right now, because if you get your insurance and then get the diagnosis right in January, the insurance is going to be less likely to pay for it, because they're going to be like, he was just waiting. He was just waiting to get this insurance
Mm-hmm.
for us to pay for it,
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing anything about it. So that kind of helped the situation. Um,
Awesome.
but the way that CGM works is like it just sends those numbers to my phone, and they last for about 10 to 15 days. So it's on me for 10 or 15 days. And when I eat, it show me what my numbers are. And then I can take a note of what I ate, how my numbers went up, how long it took to come down. So it's not like you got to take everything out of your diet, you know. It's just that you have to know that you got to manage your numbers.
Because
So
certain things will spike it, right? Certain things really
yeah,
take it up, elevate it and spike it, and
yep,
then certain
yep.
things
All that's
don't.
like my rice, white rice, take it up there real fast. Grits,
Okay.
take it up there real fast. Potatoes will take it up there real fast. But because potatoes are more simple carbs, sweet potatoes, complex carbs, take it up slow. But my
Okay.
daddy's situation a little worse than mine. He knows that he was like, if I want rice, I know I can't have dessert. And he said, but if I want dessert, I don't cook something with rice in it.
Got
You
it.
know, he really can only choose one or the other. He can't just, eat them all. And so becomes about managing the things you want and picking and choosing what you want. Like you can't have dessert, rice, chips in the middle of the day, fruit, because fruit will take your numbers up too. You eat too much fruit,
I know, and
and
some
so
people really just live on fruit, like when they're fasting or whatever. I mean, they've got grapes, they've got cherries, they got bananas, they got apple, they got
mhm.
plum, they got peaches, and it's a lot of sugar in even fresh fruit, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am, a lot. And it's
Wow.
like the benefit don't outweigh the risks when you got diabetes, because you get fiber from it, but the amount of sugar that you get from it's gonna keep you from being able to eat something you want for lunch. When you eat an apple before lunch, now it's like I can't afford for my numbers to go up higher, so I can't eat bread during lunch.
So I'm just gonna ask you. I'm thinking now. You got my wheels turning. I mean, I went last month and had my physical. So I guess things weren't too bad. I got to go look at my chart. I haven't taken the time in the last 2 weeks, but she would have called me if everything was out of whack. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking that monitor might not be a bad thing for us to have. I'm gonna say those of us over 50. Don't you think? I mean, I know
Yes,
you're
ma'am. Give me
younger.
1 second.
Okay. But I think that would be a great thing, you all. Anybody online? Do you monitor your glucose? Do you take a blood pressure check? Every other day or so? Okay.
Let me see. Are you gonna focus for me?
Yeah,
I'm
don't
gonna
want
have to
to.
go focus on my
Don't,
own. Blue.
it don't want to show me what it is
There
saying.
we go.
There you
This
go.
is the Stilo.
Okay.
This is a I'm trying to get the focus. Anyway, this is called the okay, there we go.
There you
This is
go.
called the Stilo. This is a Dexcom Stilo. This is the first over the counter CGM. This is for people with pre-diabetes or people that don't have diabetes that wants to keep up until probably November October, November when this came out, maybe a little bit before that. The only way you can get one of these was a prescription.
Wow. So
Now
it's
you can
new. It's fairly new to the
Yes, brand
market.
new. Now you can go to the website and order these and have them come to your house. They $100 a month. They last
Okay.
15 days a piece. And sometimes they fail, and sometimes they go out, and sometimes you learn a lot about the things. And they've been real good with replacing them when they fail. I've had like 5 replacements, and they have yet to say why you got too many replacements. I think they know that the fail rate is pretty high, and
Yeah.
some of it is user error, but some of it is like stuff you learn. Like they have something called an overpatch. So it's the CGM. It got a little bit of sticker around the edge, and then it got an overpatch that goes onto it to where you can take showers and do everything you need to do waterproof. But some of those have but there are third party ones you can get, because the one that come with it, it's just not gonna last the whole 15 days. So
Got it.
sometimes you got to replace it. Some of them come with like sticky stuff on it, and if you place it wrong, the sticky stuff on the overpatch will pull the thing out of your skin.
Okay. Okay.
So it's like I've learned through trial and error, what works, what don't work, the good brands. But yes, got if you really want to, really, it's for science sake, it's really cool to see how this stuff impact your body. And
Mm-hmm.
so for science sake, even if you get one of them to use every other month, I think it's interesting to try and see what different foods do to your body. So that day when you have that fried meal with that big piece of cornbread, and then that dessert after with the CO numbers boost up real high, man, I
Mm-hmm.
know what that does to me. But then to have something that you think might do it but don't really do that much. Also, how you eat makes a difference too. So eating complex carbs, a healthy fat like avocado, and protein all together will move your numbers slower than if you eat any of those items by themselves.
Got it. Got it.
So the way your body breaks down those things in unison is a healthier way to do it than otherwise. And so there's a account on TikTok named I can't remember the guy's name, but basically he just eat different foods and say this is what it does to my numbers. And
Okay.
it shows what it does to his numbers. Like, and then he'll like eat I'm gonna try eggs, then I'm gonna try avocado toast, then I'm gonna try sausage, then I'm gonna try them all together. And he just do all these different experiments to show what they do. And so he's kind of helping people see what they can eat. You
Yeah.
know, but at the very beginning of my journey, I was really lost at what to eat. So I just stopped eating everything. Stopped eating everything. And I just started eating like just meat and vegetables. Because I was like, I don't eat no carbs, but carbs are important. You
Yeah.
need carbs. You can't
Yeah.
just not have carbs. But I lost 25 pounds since I started the journey. Really just changing my diet. I hadn't even stepped in the gym yet. I just
Wow.
diet changes. And the gym is on the docket. I just hate the gym. So
Oh, I got it. And then
I
that's
got
excellent. And then too, you're an excellent cook and you love to cook and you enjoy cooking and baking and everything. So yeah, it's
mhm.
definitely a whole life change for you.
I mean, I found some substitutes like monk fruit sugar. A monk fruit sweetener
Okay.
is made out of a fruit, and it's a fruit from Asia. They basically extract it and turn it into a sweetener. And I've been using that instead of sugar, and it is a very, very good replacement for sugar. If
Is
you're
it
trying to,
liquid or is it granulated?
it's granulated. They have liquid forms, but it's granulated.
Okay.
And like I baked a cheesecake, no added sugar. And Miss Watson, if I bring you a piece of that cheesecake, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Oh, I'm gonna have to wait till you bake another one, then I want it. Because cheesecake
Okay.
is one of my weaknesses. So yeah. But I'm gonna look that
Now
sugar up.
it's a cookie butter cheesecake, so it does have like a half a cup of added cookie butter. So the sugar that's in the cookie butter is
Yeah,
in there, but
yeah.
like it don't move my numbers at all. To be a piece of cheesecake, also the crust that I use ain't graham crackers. It's Simple Meals has a brand, and they have these cookies that are made out of like watermelon seeds and all several different type of seeds, and they taste better than graham crackers to me. But that was the crust, and I was like, it barely moved my numbers up, and I was like, see, there, like, you can find some delicious stuff in this, and it's like I could have been making this cheesecake all along. Like, if I let's say that somebody wave a magic wand and I don't have diabetes no more, I don't know why I would put sugar in that cheesecake.
Gotcha.
I still
Gotcha.
don't know why I would put sugar in that cheesecake. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of changes that can be made that will improve the quality of your health. And another thing I do is, so I was consuming my carbs in soda.
Okay.
Um, I've been ate at your house before. One thing about me, and you might not have noticed it, Tommy might not have noticed, but anybody who not ate with me enough know that I'm drinking 5 glasses of whatever liquid is available. I'm drinking
Okay.
5 glasses of water, or I'm drinking 5 Cokes. you
Gotcha.
know. And so I was drinking a soda after soda during my meal. And what the doctor told me is that one soda is all of the daily carbs you're supposed to have for the day.
What you
And
need to
so
say that again. Somebody need to hear this video and just hear that part right there. What?
one soda is all of the carbs that you're supposed to have for the day.
Wow.
And I was consuming all my carbs in soda. That's a part of why it wasn't hard to change my diet, because I was eating fine. I was eating a plate full of broccoli, zucchini, and carrots with a piece of
Right.
salmon and bread every now and then.
And then drink about
But
5 sodas a
I was
day.
drinking 5 sodas, and I was just like, that's the harm that I was doing to myself. So I've substituted sodas because I want something flavorful to drink when I'm eating dinner. And so I've replaced sodas with herbal teas. And so,
Okay.
like, my favorite is a pomegranate tea that I have right now. I basically get 6 mason jars, spread out my monk fruit sweetener and stevia to sweeten it, and I put my tea bags in there, and then I just let them sit on the counter. And when I have dinner, I drink one. So I also think that some of the qualities of some of those teas have acted as an appetite suppressant as well. So my managing my portions have been easier, and how much I've wanted to eat when I was eating has been different. And so I've just found a lot of little things that work for me that still allow me to have the things. One, I like things to eat, to drink when I'm eating. Two, and I drink a lot. Two, I like desserts and sweets. And so how can I make sweets in a way that I can still consume? you
Mm-hmm.
know, and how hard is it to really replace white potatoes with sweet potatoes,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
white bread with whole grain bread? Being more aware of looking on the back of containers to see how many carbs something has. So when I'm looking at bread, I'm looking at all. I'm like, okay, this is how many carbs it got there. I don't want that one. Oh, this one don't have many carbs. And then they got some keto breads where it's like zero carbs or zero net carbs. It still have like carbs, but they call it net carbs because if it got like 8 fiber and 7 carbs, what they'll put on there is, 1 net carb. So it's just marketing stuff.
Right,
If
right,
you buy it, you finna have 1 carb per piece of bread so you can eat more bread, but it don't work like that. And
right.
that bread good, it don't taste good. I use it to I do use that bread though, that low carb bread, keto bread. I use it when I'm having like Parmesan crusted tilapia. I'll blend it up and use it as breadcrumbs instead of using actual breadcrumbs that come from the
Got
thing.
you. Yeah,
So I found it really consumed the Parmesan overtake the flavor of the bread, which I don't like. And it's low carb bread versus using like breadcrumbs out of a container. Like, so it just finding stuff that works. You works for you in that journey, and there is always a way to find stuff. Like my snacks after dinner, like because I'm used to eating dessert after dinner. Now I just eat raw unroasted cashews, unroasted unsalted cashews. It's just and every now and then when I do want a dessert, it's fine because every other day I just be eating cashews.
yeah, yeah,
I get a handful of cashews and that take me out for the night. You know, or now that my numbers come down, a bowl of cereal. Once or twice a week.
right,
Um,
right.
but watching my numbers while I'm doing all of that.
That's awesome. And then, there are those who, if they don't want to do the little arm, invest the money in that, you could always do it the old fashioned way, just stick your finger, get that little glucose thing and just prick your finger, and check that at least once a month, even if you didn't do it every week, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you inspire me to, I thank God I'm not, diabetic, but still, it will help me look at what spikes, my glucose and numbers or whatever, and things that don't. So I think that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No,
Um,
no problem at all.
but one thing about you, I've always known you like quality as well, and you're inquisitive, and you experiment, and you'll find stuff, and again, not talking about anybody, but some people just look for excuses rather than solutions, you know
Mm-hmm.
and like you say, if you grew up, and you were trained to eat these all this stuff for breakfast and all this stuff for lunch and all this stuff for dinner, you know what I'm saying, and everything, and you think you can't let that stuff go, but you can, you see, because it's a matter of taking care of yourself so that you can still function and do what you need to do. So that's incredible. That's incredible. And I'll tell you what you probably already know with a lot of other guys, it affects our mental health as well. When things start going on with us, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we start thinking different or feeling some type of way and whatever, and we know it affects the physical, and I don't know about you, but I'm seeing more and more young males who are experiencing ED. And I can tell you what I know, a lot of it is not medical at all. You
Yeah.
see,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that something?
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah, I appreciate you coming on tonight, sharing, and I'm hoping we can share this video and people will share it and just make a conscious decision to start taking better care of their health. Men and women. Because
You
that's
know
what I'm
what?
trying to do.
A lot of them young boys be using stuff like them honey packs and stuff that's meant for older men that
Hmm.
struggle with blood flow and
Hmm.
erections. And so the young boys use those things because the way they're marketed is it'll give you a better experience. But
Yeah.
the better experience is when your meat ain't working right. Like not when it's working like it's supposed to be working,
But see,
And
they don't
so
get that. They can't put that together though. They just think it's going to be a better experience. They don't understand this for people, like you said, that blood flow is not good, or they got
yeah,
other
like you
stuff
already
going
got the
on.
better experience. Like it don't get no better than just it working properly.
There you go. And there again, not a man, never been one, but I talk to a lot of. In the long run, it affects you as well. You see what I'm saying? When you start
Mm-hmm.
using what I'm gonna say, enhancers and stuff when you don't really need them, they start doing something to your body. You know,
Yeah.
same thing happened with women, but I'm saying from what I've heard with men, you know, and then if you're not careful, you'll get to the point where you'll be codependent on something all the time.
And a
You
lot of
know,
those things haven't been researched well enough to know what they do over time.
that's
I
right.
be telling people about like 5-hour energy shots and all of them different things. It's like, at some point they're gonna be commercial saying if you or any of your loved ones took, this substance between the years of 2000 and 2020, you might be entitled to some funds. And it's like some new stuff done develop because
Yeah.
we know that when those like stack of threes and the yellow jacket pills and stuff came out,
Yes.
people were taking them thinking that they was getting some energy, but like heart was stopping because you can't take those things and not be active, And so people find out the hard way taking stuff like them honey packs and stuff that over time it's done something to desensitize or overwhelm a critical part of that process. And it's because you was taking this stuff, and now whatever the thing that was active in that, it ain't gonna work for you when you 45, 50.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
The
I mean, it's
ingredient
just
you
like any medication. It might
but
be effective when you first start it, but once it gets in your system and go on and on and on, it loses the effect,
yes, ma'am.
Um, yeah, but yeah, more and more, I'm really concerned about the people who sit and consume all those energy drinks all day. I mean, some people drink 5 and 6 of them a day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're again non-medical, but I promise you, it's affecting people because I hear some of the stories, and
You know, okay, I'm sorry.
the ones that's buying those, I'm just gonna say the Viagra and Cialis on the street, they haven't gone to the doctor, to get checked and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. They buying it on the street, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because there are psychological reasons that your body could be a problem, like Viagra and Cialis is when it's not a psychological problem. I mean, it does solve the problem for the moment because it activates your body, but if you're dealing with a mental health issue through the physical solution, then you're going to be dealing with it for a long time.
yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of performance anxiety with men a lot of times
yeah.
that creates the situation where the pressure that men perceive to be put on their sexual experience becomes a problem in their way.
That's right. And that's what I was making the prelude to earlier. Non-medical, but I deal with some of them that, like you said, have that performance anxiety. I see. Welcome, Christina. She says you need to make a flyer concerning this information and a sample menu and share with the big rig drivers over the road. She says sitting for long hours and eating processed foods affect their health. Not only that, I was talking to a gentleman not long ago, and a lot of guys who experience prostate issues. And when I say prostate issues, I want you all to hear me. I'm not talking about prostate cancer. You see, because you can have prostate issues because your prostate is not exercised enough. It's a muscle, so it needs to be exercised. So thank you for sharing that. And I do encourage people who work in logistics and you sit down and you drive a lot, you need to stop more often and get out and walk and do things like that because it does affect, that prostate muscle. That's what, a medical doctor told me. Like I said, I'm not medical, but thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. And you just, yeah, I'll just say, I'm getting more and more, like I said, that's having performance anxiety, as young men and whatever. And Eddie, I'm sure it causes them not to want to pursue a relationship, because they don't think they're going to be able to perform if and when that time comes. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
just like I do, if you thinking, that's your train of thought. If you think you can't, you won't. Right?
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, yeah,
But a big part of that is like men identifying themselves through their penis.
of course.
To where, I mean, that's not the only way to please a partner, because even as an issue now, even if you do find a relationship, like the idea that you could have erectile dysfunction at some point in your life, um, who are you then? If you identify yourself by your ability to be physically sexual with your partner and that goes away, how are you identifying yourself? It's the same way as men who identify themselves through work and bringing money home. You know, when they end up having a stroke or having a physical issue and they can't go to work, how are you identifying yourself now? You got to figure out early who you are outside of the things that you do. You know,
I
otherwise
think
you're going
that's
to
a
struggle.
whole hour's topic that we must have and need to have because you know it and I know it. There's a whole section of the world with men in it. So if you know if their penis doesn't work, they say they may as well be dead.
Yeah. And statistics ain't on your side, brother.
It's not. And at some point in
They-
time, you know, your best friend is not going to work. So, like you
yeah.
say, you got to figure out some new tools in your toolbox and, you know, do some research, you know, talk to a therapist like, you know, Eddie, talk to a therapist or a sexologist like myself, you know. Um, yeah. After you go to
And you know what?
urology, huh?
Let that be the motivation to get your health together, because if that blood thick, it ain't gonna be moving as fast as it need to get you where you need to get. You
Amen.
know, dark chocolate thins the blood, red wine thins the blood. You know, find out what things help blood flow, help circulation. When you starting to get up in your 40s, get ready to take some vitamins. You know, beetroot extract has kept my blood pressure as regulated as it could. If you're looking for
Yeah.
natural solutions
Yeah.
outside of what the doctor's gonna offer, you know, but yeah, that is it's a lot of things you can do that are not as intrusive to your patterns as you think they are. Like
Yeah.
changing from white bread to wheat bread. I was like, why was I ever eat? Like, why ain't nobody sit me down and be like, listen, I'm gonna give you a sandwich with white bread, I'm gonna give you a sandwich with wheat bread, and I want you to figure out if the difference is worth continuing to eat this simple carb versus this complex carb.
Got it.
Why ain't
Got it.
nobody ever do that? Because now that I done made this change, I'm like, why would I ever be eating white bread? My sandwich
Hmm.
still tastes good. I still toast it properly. This avocado toast is better. Sometimes it's better to me than it would be with white bread, because you know white bread a little bit soft. So you
Yes.
know, avocado slices on it make it burn fall apart. But that wheat bread a little firm. You know, if you buy the right one. You know, and it's like I could. There's so many changes that I could have been making. Instead of using low sodium options in these places, it's still enough sodium for me. I've been using the high sodium options and I've been like, you know, this is good, but like now that I'm using low sodium, it's still good. You know, I've been eating sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar, but now that I'm using monk fruit sweetener, it's like I don't even want sugar like that no more. And sugar um um does so much harm because of the processing that it has. It's like not having sugar, I feel like my body is changing from just not having sugar like that.
Yes, I'm sure it is. I'm
It's
sure it
I mean,
is.
these changes haven't been hard to make, you know, and I can still make my delicious food that I like to make, you know, but sometimes I make it a little different, you know.
That's awesome. Listen, we could talk about this all night. And like I said, I'm not going to go into anything else. I appreciate you so much for sharing, you know, your journey and your changes. And I'm hoping this will inspire and encourage, you know, someone to hear it and to share it with others that would be willing to make these changes, you know. And see, we don't have to wait until we get a diagnosis before we make changes. You know what I'm saying? As we're
Yes, ma'am.
aging and as we look in the mirror and we know we got these pounds and our you know, our belt is tight or our pants tighter, it's just wise to go ahead and make the changes.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna look up that. I've heard about the monk fruit, but I didn't know if it was liquid, you know, or
They
granulated.
have
So,
liquid versions, but I use the granulated. The liquid version is just overpriced and come in a little container. I think it's really probably to drip in bottled water if you want to mix like some lemonade or something like that. I That's what I only thing I can imagine. I mean, it's not cheap. It costs about 2 times as much as sugar.
right.
Um, if probably more than that, but you know, buying it in bulk is a better situation. But like, if you're really trying to get away from sugar, but like things being sweetened, and you don't want to use artificial sweeteners,
Yes.
stevia and monk fruit have been working for me.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing. We know that on a healthier journey, it's going to cost us a little bit more, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
on a
ma'am.
lot more sometimes, but we have to weigh. I mean, it's what's best for our body. It's what's best for us. So are you
Yes,
willing to
ma'am.
invest in yourself? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, look, like I said, all that money that we might spend on something else, we just need to look at, okay, this is my body, this is my life journey. So yes, I'm willing to make this investment for me, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
so that I can be healthier.
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you got any closing remarks? I mean, this is it. I thank you so much for coming on and sharing, and you giving out some valuable information tonight.
I would just say that yes, we need to get our yearly appointments. Don't wait until something happens. Go ahead and get checked out. I know that there is a little bit of fear of finding out that there's something wrong, but like the reality is when we're born, we start to die
Yeah.
and we peak, and then there is an active decline until we gone. I know that's a
Hmm.
little bit morbid,
But
but
it's the
don't wait.
reality.
Don't wait. And even if you don't go every year, believe your body when it's telling you something.
Yeah.
Believe your body when it's telling you. When it's telling you something new, that's okay. It ain't bad. I just feel a little bit of nerve doing something. But if a nerve doing something on this side of your body and on that side of your body, and your eye twitching, and you can't ease your thirst, this is a combination of things that you need to be. Your body is telling you something that you need to go figure out. So listen to your body and take care of yourself. Don't push those things off when the time comes.
Well said. That's it. I think we'll end on that note. Listen to your body. That's it. Thank you so much, Brother Eddie. I appreciate it. You have a good rest of the week. And yeah, we'll come together again real soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Just let me
All
know.
right. Have a good
All
night
right.
now. Thank
Thanks, you
you.
too.
All
All
right.
right. Bye.
Good night.